Good morning, everybody. Back pain. And I want to start with myself because I'm a very good example. I used to have a lot of back pain, but thinking about it now, very easy to explain. Because one, I was in a plane 3 times a week, which means sitting. I was in many meetings, running projects and stuff like that, meaning sitting. At the same time, my food regime was not so great, as you can imagine. Planes, cantinas, etc. So it was not on my top point. And last but not least, of course, stress. Lots of stress. Going early out of bed, after bed sleeps, hunting to the next super important meeting. So what happens is, as a result, thinking today, in retrospect, stress creates stiffness. Stiffness is, imagine it like a cold. So when your arm is very cold, your blood circulation is very bad, which means blood which transfers food, etc., it's not going through. And this stress, this stiffness is in your spine. So, number one, stress creates stiffness. Now, there is no escape. Nowadays, we're running like this or like that. So we have to deal with it somehow. So, but that's number one. Number two, I said sitting. Now, while we sit, of course, it makes a lot of compression. And this compression, when you imagine the spine, imagine it a space like this. In the middle, the vertebrae and the buffers, the discs, which separates the vertebrae. Now, these buffers, they suffer from the compression. We have on Earth something, it's called gravity. And this gravity, unfortunately, together with the sitting, it helps to push things together. Now comes the bad news. When we imagine that space, there is not only the vertebrae and the disc, there is also running nerves on the left, on the right, up and down. And when that is compressed, what happens is eventually it creates pain because it's pressing on the nerve. So when you have a stroke, what I like to call a stroke in the back, and you're like, oh, that's when you hit the nerve. And the nerve is very sensitive, and he is not very easy to please, which means it takes time. In my worst times, it took me 3 days lying on the floor flat, not moving whatsoever. So, on top of that, we have the stiffness, remember? Which means the blood circulation in the spine, the feeding of the disc is much less, it's much worse. Therefore, the discs are not in the best shape. And now, as usually, on top of everything comes the age. We are not getting younger, the discs are suffering, so they're getting less flexible, and now they get less food on top of it. I mean, imagine that. So, all of that leads me, or led me actually, to the conclusion that training alone is not enough. Because in all this lifestyle, I managed to train as well, at least 3 times a week. But I trained martial arts, hitting, defending, self-defense. So even more pressure collected in my spine. It helped my mind tremendously, but it didn't help my spine. So now imagine the fairy tale of that you have not enough muscles to hold your spine, your upper body, etc. Now imagine all the story I told you, and now put some weights, and you make it. Okay? So what will happen? The moment you work with weights, the moment you work with a lot of holding, what it does, it cramps even more, which means spaces get even smaller, which means the chance that you're gonna hit the nerve is even greater. So therefore, what we need to do, what helped me tremendously, is exercises which first of all helping against the stiffness, which means letting go, which means something very soft. So that's one. Two, what helped me tremendously is soft motions, which means not what I needed, what helped me tremendously is soft motion, and we'll get to that. I will show you some of them, which I call three-dimensional movements. We took all of them partly out of the yoga, partly out of the Taoistic training, which again is martial arts, but the Taoists are much more smart. It's not about fighting, it's always about health.